it has been a long journey. It's been a difficult journey. We tried lots of things that didn't quite work.
And Stephen, with kind of that in mind, thinking about speaking to new audiences, younger audiences, making it kind of feel really updated, why was Georgie the perfect choice for director?
Well, you've just seen the answer. I think here's the thing: a lot of the things you can look back on and pat yourself on the back about in terms of what you did right with season 1. You learn from. And so, for example, Susanna Beer, who may be here in the audience tonight, are you Susanna? I think at the back of my mind, all of our minds, when we brought Susanna in, was Le Carre's world is very male and very British. And there was something absolutely fabulous, quite apart from the fact that Susanna's a genius, about having a female sensibility and a not British sensibility unleashed on that world. And that's one of the many reasons it worked. And so I think when, after, the decade of being ready to go again, you were looking around for someone else who would bring another slightly left field approach. And I'd loved I Hate Susie. That's all I'd seen of Georgie's work. And we met, and she prepared this incredible playbook of how she saw the show. I mean, this beautiful, brilliant presentation, plundered from all your favourite conspiracy thrillers.
It was a dream.
Why do I want to say, we all want to know what drug David took before he had that dream. That's what Night Nurse does. Fantastic. But so, and look, it was a kind of professional love at first sight. Certainly for me, I don't, hopefully it got reciprocated over time, but we spent an awful lot of time together. But she was just unique, fantastic, and had a sensibility that felt right for an iteration that's 10 years on. And obviously it was very important that Tom and David and everyone else who was at the heart of this, and Simon, would share the love. And she beguiled us all very quickly, and was just, whenever I thought I knew what Georgie was bringing to the table in terms of brilliance, insight, revelation, I was just blown away on a daily basis. And sometimes you just sit back and admire the magic, and it is a kind of magic, and we all felt it. And at times it was incredibly tough and intense. Georgie has this extraordinary calm, and when everyone else was kind of tearing their hair out and wondering what the hell to do, she just sailed on.
Amazing. So Georgie, it is such a gorgeous first episode, and we see more and more of it obviously as the series goes on. But what I particularly love is how you portray the authenticity of what it is to be human, the gaps that we don't normally see in a spy thriller. So it's about the importance of that for you, for making sure that we're privy to moments in Pine's life, but also everybody else's that we might not usually get to see.
I think regardless of what genre you're in, that's what kind of connects with audiences. It's just like creating a relatable story. Since she was about I Hate Susie, to me, they're essentially both identity crises. They're exactly the same in a sense, because it's just about these things that we universally go through, and the emotions that we live, and the vulnerability that we all have, and the masks that we wear, and the way that we parade ourselves. And Tom, you and I spoke really early on, didn't we, about that having to be the core. It's like, and if you look at, particularly if you look at that episode, Tom's doing such an outstanding job of telling us so much by not saying anything. The most compelling themes, he's not saying anything. It's all in his performance, it's all in his face, it's all in the unsaid, which is again, David, when you wrote it, that's what we talked about a lot in that. When you dreamt from a car, when you dreamt it up. But it's those things. It's not about, to me, it's not about what people say, it's about what they don't say. And I think when you're in genre, in a sense, the rules of genre exist because we can take them or leave them or play with them or sort of remix them as directors, as filmmakers. And sometimes they sort of somewhat take care of themselves. It's like you can understand those rules, you can learn those rules. But what you can't necessarily learn is the complexity of the human and us all. And I think that's the one thing you can't take for granted. So it's I always start there, regardless of the genre. Start there, because if you start there, then you feel something, and then you just get the finest actors in the world. I mean, they're not bad at it, are they? And the others in the audience. I mean, and when you get talent like that, and you start from those those foundations, then there's just more and more and more that you can excavate, and that's just going to feed itself into the work. And then that's what makes the explosions fun. And that's why when Willie died, I mean, the gasp in the audience from, I'm so sorry Willie died. I felt really bad tonight. It's like, no! But it's why it feels like something, because we invest in the characters, because we understand, because when we see Tom's face, when Pine understands what's happened, more blood on his hands.
Yeah.
He has to say nothing, but we all understand it.
That, by the way, it can only come from the top as well. And it was literally, seemed to be Georgie's guiding light on set. Is you have the architecture of these stories of a spy thriller, largely invented by Simon's dad. Is it's a dance of secrets and lies, a game of betrayal and identity. And Georgie's particular passion, with all of us, was scratching around and excavating the private vulnerability of every character. And that the whole season, I think, is elevated by that interest. Is that if the stakes are so high for every character and they have to play the game with such precision, one slip and they're dead, where is the vulnerability? When do you open the window into the soul of everything? And I like that every single day Georgie was chasing that down. And it was such a thrill because these stories are so much about control, and it's actually when characters lose control that there's a tension there.
But just to add, you can't do that without actors that are this brave. Because to be truly vulnerable as a character, you have to go there as an actor. And that is rare, and that they all stepped into that, and because it's not an easy place at film set. It's so exposing, and it's so difficult to reach those levels of vulnerability, and that they kind of surrender to that and put your trust in the process is like, I'm just eternally grateful that you did that.
Well, Diego, we see